Karen Isert, and welcome to our show. On tonight's edition of WK2U, we will explore the world of social media, its effects on communication, and its role in the professional world. Later this evening, we will be joined by a WKU broadcast journalism student, Amanda Johnson. Our first guest of the night is Professor Ken Payne, who teaches us several courses, including media literacy. He is here to discuss the role of social media in the corporate and professional world, and how our use of social media influences our future employers' hiring decisions. Welcome to the show, Professor Payne.
Sure.
How have you been today? Thank you for joining us.
Doing great. Thanks very much.
All right, well, we'll just jump right into this.
Sure.
As an associate professor in broadcast journalism, how are you connected to social media?
Well, like you opened the show, social media is all around us. It's ubiquitous. It's everything that we do now. So you've got to kind of put yourself as a professor into the world of social media to meet your students there. And I think we do a pretty good job of it, although there is a bit of reluctance to kind of jump in with both feet. But I think social media plays a huge role in connecting to students both inside the classroom and outside the classroom. So I use it quite a bit.
How, as a professor, do you use social media?
My courses are all what I call blended courses. So they're brick and mortar, we're in a classroom, we're discussing things, but I also try to connect students with each other on social media. You know, a class only lasts an hour or an hour and 20 minutes, but a lot goes on, and I teach public relations courses that are very attuned to public opinion and things that are going on in the real world. So what we do is connect on social media through a Google Plus site that I set up. So students can come in and comment on stories that I post there. I can come in and comment on them, and then we all can come in and look at them when we're back in brick and mortar. So it's kind of that symbiotic relationship between brick and mortar classroom, online, social media, and the connectivity that it provides.
And do you find that very effective as a professor with reaching out to all of your students?
You know, it doesn't matter for me, but it matters with the students. And I think the students find it very attractive in that it fits in with their natural rhythm of their life. So as students in the student union and they're updating their Facebook page, it's very easy on their smartphone just to toggle over and get to the Google Plus page and see what's going on there. So making it convenient, meeting students where they're at instead of where I want them to be, I think there's a lot of acceptance there, and I think there's a high amount of usage because, again, it's very convenient and it's very natural for them to be there, so they use it quite a bit.
So as media evolves more, do you think more professors will feel the need to use things like Google Plus or other social media websites?
I hope so. I think there's a learning curve. I think there's a lot of risk involved. It really takes professors out into something they may not be all that comfortable with. It does require, I think one of the big myths of social media is it doesn't require a lot of time or effort. Mm-hmm. It does require a lot of time or effort to really engage students, to really be where they are, to really go there and see what they're thinking and then comment on their comments. It can be quite a bit of time drain, and that's in addition to your regular job of preparing for classes and grading assignments and all that stuff. So if you're going to make that plunge into social media and integrate that in the classroom, you have to be ready to commit the time as well that it requires.
Yeah, so as students move on later in their future, there's a lot of organizations and business departments on campus that are moving towards a hashtag. Mm-hmm. So the hashtag this, hashtag that, to publicize their services. Mm-hmm. How do you see social media impacting students that way with the hashtag?
You know, and again, I'm speaking very personal here. I'm not a big hashtag person. Mm-hmm. I have hashtag fatigue, and I think maybe America is having hashtag fatigue because and I don't know, you hate to point at one platform and say, well, this is the cause, but I think Twitter in itself has caused a lot of hashtag fatigue because everything is hashtagged now. Right. Hashtag what I had for breakfast, hashtag President Obama, whatever. I'm not saying it's not convenient, and it's really good for tracking, like your return on investment on your program or your campaign or whatever you're doing. But I just think if you're going to go the hashtag route, it needs to be, again, widely available, widely accepted. Students have to buy into it, and I'm just not quite there yet on the hashtag mm-hmm. part.
Right. So as social media evolves more, do you feel that it could be a problem for students later on in life maybe, or just being a social media problem in general?
Well, it can be, like I say, it can be a huge time drain. Social media takes a lot of time. You don't have to do anything but walk around on campus and observe what students are doing when they're walking around. Their heads are down, they're looking at their smartphones. So in that way, I think it can be a detriment in that maybe they're missing some other parts of college and the social life of college that could be very important. But on the other hand, it is connecting us as a society, as a student body, like nothing ever before. So there's tremendous upside, but there's also a lot of caution there, and you've got to be careful. And what I do, I walk around campus, and if I see a student I know, I'll just tell them to look up, because again, that face down in my smartphone and army of one kind of thing, walking around campus, I think you miss a lot. So I guess what I'm saying, there has to be a balance between good use of social media, important use of social media, and then not missing the life that's going on around you.
And I'll kind of wrap you up with one final question. How do you think social media might impact a student maybe in their future career? So if a student's always on their phone in class or during a break, do you think that later on in their career, say they take a break for one moment, they'll be on social media? Would that affect with a future employer, or? Well,
there's no doubt that employers believe that students are digital natives. Students grew up in this. So to not pay attention to what I call their digital footprint is folly. Every student needs to be involved with that, understanding what their presence is. And it's very easy to do. Just Google your name, just see what comes up. And there's two responses to that. Either a lot of really bad things come up on your Facebook page, images and so on, or nothing at all comes up, which can be just as bad, which means that you're not paying attention to things like your LinkedIn account, your other social media accounts. So again, just awareness, being aware of your social footprint, what's out there, what you can put out there, how you can manage that yourself is very important for the professional life.
Well, thank you for giving this insight, Dr. Payne. Thank you for joining us. After the break, we will continue our discussion on social media with WKU student, so stick around.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
So, are you going out tonight?
Home right after work.
That's so gay.
Totally gay.
Oh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know, when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Welcome back to WK2U. I'm your host, Karen Iser, and we are continuing our discussion on social media with one of our second guests to talk about student point of view. With me is WKU student Amanda Johnson. We're glad you're joining us today, Amanda. Thanks. Let's just jump right into it since I've already talked to Dr. Payne. So how has social media influenced your communication?
Social media influences communication every single day in everything that we do, in classroom discussion and everything. People always have their cell phones out. We're always on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's something that we run to and cling to almost, and face-to-face communication is hurting because of it. We use it in group communication and everything that we do, and it's one of those things that we'll slowly see face-to-face communication fall off if we don't work towards that.
So as a student, do you feel that you're trying to get more face-to-face and maybe leaning back off of social media more, or are you still a social media bug just like everyone else?
I am so involved in social media, and that's because social media has prompted us to rush through everything in life. You know, everything is on such a tight, deadline, and social media helps us where I can respond when I can and as fast as I can because I've got my cell phone in front of me. And face-to-face communication is one of those things where you have to set up a time to come in and make contact with the person you're trying to have communication with, whereas I could be on my cell phone at work talking to someone that's in their room working on a project that we're doing. So I'm super involved in social media, as are so many students on campus. But face-to-face communication is one of those things that is so important as well, because right now we're getting nonverbals from each other and those kind of cues. And with social media, you lose those things.
So do you feel like as students, a lot of people are lacking a lot of face-to-face communication? So maybe when it comes to meeting new people, do you think more students are held back with the fact that they're so relying on social media? So do you think that we are lacking with face-to-face communication as students?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And especially now because we have so many classes that teach us how to have interview skills. And I'm not sure that was so prominent 10, 20 years ago. But now we have to have people tell us how to talk because it's so challenging, because we're always texting and typing and, using emojis and trying to make ourselves known in that way. But, on social media, like I said, you can't get the vibe that you can in face-to-face communication, and that's something that needs to be taught.
Right. Okay, tell me a little bit about your PRSSA, your role and how PR is connected to social media.
I am actually not involved in PRSSA.
You're not?
I do use social media in my job, though. I am a fusion journalist with Western iMedia, and we go out and we use small forms of social media that aren't as predominant in society. Like, we're going to New York in May, and what we're doing is we're using an app called Flipagram, and we're going to tell a story of the 400 biggest names in media right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that app and we're going to use still images of people and have audio in the background to use that as an interview topic. And it's supposed to get out to almost 8 million people. And that's just another way that you can use social media to push out anything to people around the world. And that's another good thing for social media. Face-to-face communication keeps me right here, right now. But social media can put me from here all over the globe in seconds. And that's a great way to do that.
So do you feel that more professors should be using social media to branch out with their learning and exploring? And do you feel that as a student you find it more helpful if a professor uses social media, or it's kind of, leave that to the new generation, stick to what you know?
I love when my professors use social media. I like when my professors try to meet me halfway. It encourages me to meet them halfway as well. Like, if they put in some effort to kind of meet me where I'm at in social media, I might be more, interactive in class or something like that, because they've taken the step out to try to help me. And I really appreciate when teachers do that. Social media is a great way to connect to us because we all, like I said, we always have our cell phones. So I use all the school apps and stuff to get information, and my teachers can post something and within 5 minutes I have it to my cell phone.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us, Amanda, and providing your insight on the impact of social media. That does it for this edition for WK2U, but we want to hear what you think. Continue the discussion on social media by using the hashtag WK2U. Thanks for watching. I'm Karen Isert. Good night, everyone.